If you want a good introduction to a sports bike but don't know where to start, the Honda CBR 500R could be the one for you. It has a proper big bike feel and lots of power behind it, so even experienced riders will be entertained with this model. It is a stylish-looking bike too, which offers riders an engaging ride in a comfortable sitting position. It is also fun to take out on the road. With a reworked suspension that feels solid, you can head over road bumps easily. You can cruise along the motorway with no problem on this bike.
Watch the full video to learn more about Honda CBR 500R.
That set of twisties ahead. Own them, all of them. Own every late turn and point, apex, and corner exit. The CBR 500R is LAMS approved, but also every square millimeter is a CBR. Aggressive styling and new graphics combine with the twin-cylinder engine that spins hard at your command, and upgraded suspension and brakes that will fill you with confidence. If you're ready to step up to the real race-bred performance, the adrenaline rush starts here. New show a 41mm separate function fork, big piston USD fork, separate damping from spring and give a supple response, especially braking from the speed with a fingertip feel for front tire grip. New lightweight wheels and swing arm, plus more forward set weight bias, sharpen handling even further. The free-spinning parallel twin-cylinder engine produces 35 kW at 600 revolutions per minute with a peak torque of 43 Nm at 500 revolutions per minute, complete with a thrilling howl through the exhaust as you chase redline. The 47 bhp engine gives you enough power to get you up to speed quickly, with a top speed of about 112 miles per hour. You won't notice much vibration at this level, which makes the ride even more comfortable. In fact, revs aren't a problem whatever level you're riding at. You'll also notice that there have been improvements made to the airflow which make the model more efficient overall. This bike is built in Thailand, but the famous Honda build quality remains strong. You may pay a little more for this bike than similar models, like KTM's RC390, but it could be worth it for the reliability of the name and the pleasure you get taking it out. The equipment itself on the CB range is pretty basic, although ABS is standard. Overview of the Honda CBR 500R. Honda launched the CBR 500R sport bike in 2013. At the same time, Honda also launched the CB500F naked version and the adventure-style CB500X. All three models share many components and are aimed at, depending on the geography, either newer riders looking for an easy starting point before bigger bikes, or experienced riders looking for an everyday commuter. With a novice-friendly 35 kW divided by 47 horsepower engine, the Honda CBR 500R has always had enough power to keep most riders interested without being too scary for newer riders. Add to this the Honda build quality and reliability, plus the shiny paint in person, and it's easy to like the CBR 500R. Specifications. The 2022 model of the Honda CBR 500R got some notable updates on the spec sheet. Honda replaced the single front brake with a twin-disc, radial setup, giving improved feel and braking power. Keeping everything under control at the front are the 41mm Showa SF upside-down forks, and a single Pro-Link shock at the rear. The front forks are non-adjustable, but you can set the preload on the rear shock. Weight savings have been made in some areas, particularly the new swing arm, but the heavier USD forks offset these, and curb weight remains the same. Engine. Honda's 500 range has always been aimed at newer riders, and 35 kW is the maximum power allowed in some countries for riders with restricted licenses. For this reason, Honda has left the engine virtually untouched from previous versions, just tweaking the mid-range torque a little, with a peak torque of 43 Nm coming in at 6,500 revolutions per minute. The parallel twin is quite advanced, with dual overhead cams and 4 valves per cylinder. The timing of the crankshaft is 180 degrees, meaning that in a 720-degree 4-stroke firing interval it goes bang pause 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 pause. This is slightly different from, for example, the Yamaha Mount 7, which has a 270-degree crankshaft, which leads to just a little more rasp and lumpiness. The Honda CBR 500R's engine is not a high-tuned, high-revving racing engine. It's quite mild, with a compression ratio of a modest 10:7:1, so even with a sports exhaust on it, it doesn't provide a hair-raising growl, but rather a docile and predictable purr. Suspension and brakes. Honda gave the CBR 500R a welcome upgrade to the suspension and brakes for 2022. Like high-end sport bikes, the 2022 Honda CBR 500R gets upside-down front forks and twin-disc brakes and radial-mounted calipers. There wasn't too much wrong with the previous setup, but the new Showa separate function forks are a step up in technology. And look, the separate function system puts the spring in one leg and the damping in the other fork leg. Splitting the damping in spring gives a good weight saving over conventional forks, although they are non-adjustable. Slowing the Honda down became easier with the 4-pot radial-mounted calipers clamping onto twin 296mm discs, rather than the single 320mm setup of the past bike. Equipment. The CBR 500R is a thoroughly modern small sports bike. It has LED lighting all around, including the indicators. The LCD instrument cluster is color and effective, but not as shiny as the TFT on some entry-level rivals like the KTM RC390. So the CBR 500R is effective but basic. You get a basic bike with everything you need, including a span-adjustable brake lever, but not much more. You can get heated grips as an optional extra. And depending on where you live, getting the factory option can be well worth the money. You can also choose a taller screen, a top box, a magnetic tank bag, and other accessories. Styling. Honda has made the CBR 500R look like its larger Supersport siblings. Wandering past a dealer, you can easily mistake the Honda CBR 500R for a Honda Fireblade, particularly now with its colored USD forks and twin radial-mounted caliper setup. The front looks aggressive, with sharp lines, smart LED lights, and even Fireblade-style winglets for added aerodynamics. The paint is also just wonderful. It doesn't feel or look cheap at all. Comfort. While Honda designed the CBR 500R to look like a sport bike, it's actually pretty comfortable. You're sitting fairly upright, with only a slight lean towards the bars, and although your legs are tucked up a little, it's not too uncomfortable, unless you have issues with bending your knees. The Honda CBR 500R feels like a bigger bike, partly due to the weight and the spacious seating arrangement. In fact, it is a full-sized bike. Being a full-sized bike means that compared to most of its rivals, the CBR is quite heavy. Yes, this extra weight slightly affects the performance, but it also makes the bike feel planted on the road. It's confidence-inspiring. What's the CBR 500R like when riding it in different conditions? First, let's look at commuting. No doubt about it, the mid-sized CBR 500R works very well as a commuter. Thanks to the quality Honda build and a frugal engine, the Honda CBR 500R makes a great daily ride. It's powerful enough to keep up with traffic on the main roads and light enough to filter through traffic, where allowed, as well as being narrow to filter through traffic at the lights. Add in a comfortable riding position. An excellent fuel consumption averaging over 3.5 liters divided by 100 kilometers, and the Honda CBR 500R is a near flawless commuter, unlikely to ever let you down unless you completely omit to maintain it.
Subscribe to our channel to keep up with new content. Your subscription, support, and feedback are much appreciated.